What's up, everybody? Thanks for joining me on these analysis. We're going to be looking at SOXX Semiconductor ETF. We've been riding up this trend line pretty nice since October 2018. We've had our bounces multiple times, and as you can see, that major fall off that we've had from June 2024 all the way to April 2025. Pretty long, bear market for semiconductors. It was a pretty significant drop. We dropped 44% on semiconductors, and SOXL dropped a pretty significant amount, and that was a good buying opportunity, as well as SOXX was a good opportunity, and we are pushing up higher at the moment. As you can see, we got that bounce off of here, and we broke out of this downward sloping trend line, and at the same time we also broke this horizontal level of support sitting at around 184 to 176. We pushed up to this key level of support and resistance, got rejected, pushed down to this level, surpassed it, and then we wicked off of the level, pushed higher, and now we are finding rejection again off of this key level of support. So we will see what happens once we break this key level of support, if we get a repeat of this same move. So we'll see if we end up, it kind of looks like a repeat of this, where we pushed up, we touched the level of resistance, we pushed back to the trend line, then we pushed back up to the level of resistance, got rejected for a little bit, and then we broke through, retested, and continued higher. So now we are pushing up, we got rejected to the trend line, we got a bounce off the trend line, we are back to the level of resistance, just like here. We're currently right here, I would say. We got rejected, which we're currently doing. Maybe we see a little retest or retracement. It doesn't have to happen. And then maybe a breakout, retest, and continue higher. So maybe the next move would be something like a little cool off period after this huge run, breakout, retest, and we continue higher. It would look identical to this move over here, where, like I said, retest, or I'm sorry, we test it, pull all the way down, retest again, push down, break through. Test this, come to the trend line, test it again, get it rejected, little reset, and then push through. So it does tend to happen in the market where things kind of play in cycles, and they happen time and time again. You kind of see these same patterns happening again and again. We'll see if it plays out, of course. And when you take a look at the fib, you can see we did bounce off of the 0.5 to the 618, the golden zone. It's a magnet for price. As you can see, price was attracted to this zone. We pushed a little bit further because of the bearish sentiment, and we whipped back above, bounced off of it, and now we're sitting above the 236, ready to push up even higher. And when you take a look at the move on a smaller scale, this is barely even a retracement, honestly, because if you were to take a fib from this bottom level here, you're not even at the 236. You're around halfway to the 236. So this is, even if you made it all the way to the 236, that is an incredibly bullish move to continue the price higher. So this would just be a nice little reset. This reset is it's just a minor cool off period. It's just taking a 5-second water break before potentially pushing higher. We'll see, of course. On the weekly SMAs, we have our 20 pushing towards our 50, and we're holding well above our 200. On the daily, we did break underneath our 20, and that increased the likelihood of us retesting and pushing down to the 50. Looks like we are getting a bounce off the 50-day. If we were to lose the 50-day, it's going to open up the likelihood of us pushing back up, retesting it, and then pushing down to the 200. Hopefully not. And on the 4-hour, you can see we are getting a little bearish move as the 20 is pushing above the 50 and now curling back underneath. So that's going to be a little bearish, but like I said, these are lagging indicators. So this curl that you're seeing is this move that we already had currently. So this could curl, push back up, and then this would lag behind and start to curl up again. But these resets in price are actually pretty good. These cool off periods, it helps continue the trend higher. If you just go absolutely vertical, you're going to come back just as fast as you went up. So you never want to go up too fast. On the weekly RSI, it looks like we could be getting a retest off of our yellow moving average, but we are sitting in bullish territory at the moment. We're sitting at around 59 or so. Yellow moving average is around 57, so we'll see if we get that bounce that we're looking for on the weekly RSI. On the daily, we've kind of been riding the yellow trend line downward, and we got a steep fall off, and now we're underneath the neutral zone, so we're technically in bearish territory, but we're not oversold just yet. And on the 4-hour, it's kind of the same concept. It's been a downward sloping trend line, and then we had an aggressive drop off recently. We'll see if we can find some level of support and turn this thing around. If I draw a horizontal level, we'll take a look to see what price does in this zone. As you can see, it's a pretty solid level of support. We do fall through it sometimes, but overall it's a pretty decent level. All the way down to the oversold level, if you were to draw that line and you have a zone from 35 to about 30, you can see we usually find some kind of reversal in that pink zone there. So 30 to 35 is usually some sort of reversal zone for the RSI on the 4-hour. When we look at the weekly MACD, you can see we're sitting at 9.63. The momentum is dying down, the bullish momentum. Like I said, it could be a little cool off period temporarily and continue that trend higher. We're still in bullish territory on the weekly, and on the daily, the bearish momentum is starting to kick up a little bit. This looks more bearish than what the chart is really showing, but we have been really overbought. So it was creating some kind of like bull flag, and then it's starting to fail a little bit. So maybe it ends up turning out to be like a double top for the little reset, and then we continue the trend higher. And on the 4-hour, we are in bearish territory. It's been lower highs and lower lows. As you can see, a nice trend established there. It's probably something more like that. And then we kind of had a steep fall off. And it's really some kind of divergence when you look at how weak the strength has been going. And then you can see that trend. The trend was actually from this point on, it was kind of upward for the most part, like slightly upward. You can see that deviation between the strength and what price was doing. This kind of makes sense why it's falling off, because it was actually weaker than price was showing. So maybe this is a little reset that we need. And now that we're back in bearish territory, it'll help the RSI or the MACD start to curl back upward and create that momentum that we need to have an established move for higher prices. On the weekly EMA, you can see we're actually finding a bounce. This has been a pretty strong indicator as you create your bull trend. Likes to retest these 8 EMAs and continue trending, especially when we get in the runs. So hopefully this is just a nice little bounce and we continue that move higher. And on the daily, we did fall underneath our 8 EMA, which we were holding pretty well. We fell underneath it a couple times temporarily and continued to move. And it looks like we're doing that now. We'll see if it's a quick recovery or if this is more of a long-term or longer term, like over a course of like a week or two, we get some kind of downturn for that reset and then continue higher. If we were to pull back to the 0.5 to the 618, which is our key level, it's like our magnet, that would kind of line up with our breakout zone. So you can see that would line up with that 199 to around 187. That would pull us back all the way down there. More than likely find some kind of retest, and that would also close this gap that's sitting at 195 here on the weekly, and that would coincide with this downward sloping trend line because we never got a true break and retest. We just broke out and continued moving. You don't always need a retest, but a lot of the times you do get it. So maybe that's what we're coming for. Hopefully not. Maybe it's just a quick little move to the 236 and continue to move higher, and then we don't even come to fill this, or we come to fill this in some kind of economic downturn in 2-3 years or something like that. But overall, I remain pretty bullish on semiconductors over the next 5 to 10 years. They're going to be key players in the movement going forward, and AI and infrastructure and all that kind of stuff. So definitely DCing into this may serve you well. Not financial advice, of course. Make sure you guys drop a like and subscribe on these videos. It always helps. I appreciate all your support, and I'll see you guys in the next one.